Joanna, and welcome to all participants. Let me, 1 second, just let me share my screen and show you the PowerPoint, and then we can go through the MCR 2030. As you are all aware, there is this the Making Cities Resilient campaign already ongoing, but that ends in December, on 30th December, actually. So after that, what we will have is what we call the Making Cities Resilient 2030. And that is a new initiative, multi-partner initiative, which will be operational from January coming month all the way to December 2030. So let me just share the PowerPoint. I think you can see it. Okay. Now, when we developed the MCR 2030, it took about almost 2 years because of the consultations with local governments as well as partners to understand what have we learned from 10 years of the Making Cities Resilient campaign, and how can that inform the new initiative. So what we have learned from the MCR 2030 and the incorporated in the MCR 2030 and learned from the MCR is firstly that cities need to understand what is their roadmap, what is the journey they have to take to ensure resilience. So it should be a mechanism by which they can understand where they are and where they need to go. Secondly, it has to be a partnership. It has to be all partners around the world getting together, because nobody alone can do it, and neither can smaller groups. It has to be everyone working together. So it has to be operational at the regional level so that it's closer to the cities and the local governments. And it should build on the knowledge and the tools that the partners have, because there are enough tools available. There's no need to develop new ones, but trying to target those tools and to synergize those tools. Synergize in the sense that the tools are of different levels of sophistication. So which tool should a small municipality use? Which tool should a larger city use? Which kind of tool should a province use or a district use? So, have this menu of options available to cities so that they can pick and choose what suits them best, and do it through an online mechanism. And also to create a directory of partners so that cities and local governments know who are the partners who can help them at different stages of their journey. Now, the strategic objectives include that cities should know better, that they should plan better, and that they should implement better. So know better is what is happening in the current Making Cities Resilient campaign also. And recently also the work since the Sendai framework was adopted, the plan better has also been there, as you know, through the scorecard and the quick risk estimation tools and so on. These are all planning tools. They are diagnostic tools which help cities understand where they are, what are the weaknesses, what are the gaps, what needs to be strengthened. The implement is the new part, and MCR 2030 will be looking at bringing in partners who can help more and more in the implementation, because this is the decade of action. 2021 to 2030 is the decade of action when we have to work on implementing not only Sendai framework, but also the Paris Agreement, the Sustainable Development Goals, and other agendas. The MCR 2030 will also look at strengthening the links between the national and the local government. So we all know local governments do not exist in independence of the national governments. They work very closely with each other. They depend on each other for a variety of support, It could be technical support, could be financial support, legislative support. And similarly, the national governments depend on the local governments because local governments provide the tax revenues, the business opportunities, the investment opportunities, and so on. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It needs to be strengthened. Then also looking at the horizontal links, which is the links between the city and its partners. So any local government, whether it's a municipality, a town, a city, a province, a district, they have a large number of partners in their vicinity, in their jurisdiction area. It could be universities, it could be research organizations, the private sector, companies, so on. So all of these can help the city and the local government in their resilience journey. And the idea is to bring these together, to forge these links between the partners and the cities. And that is being done through what is known as a directory, which is more like a yellow pages, and we'll talk about that in a while. And then most important, helping cities to learn from each other, because that's the best example of inspiration for one city to see how another city has tackled similar problems. This is what it will look like. The cities, when they join, and I'll share with you the link very soon, so you can also reach out to the cities in your network or the cities where you work, so that they can also join the MCR 2030. That process is already open, so they can start that. When they want to join, there will be a placement survey, which is with about 15 questions. And some of those questions are trigger questions, which will move the city into A, B, or C. Because not every city will be at stage A. There will be a lot of cities. And when we say cities, we mean local governments, all forms of local governments. So there will be many cities which will be already in stage C. So they don't have to go to A. Or there will be cities who are at B. Now, A cities are those which are starting out. They feel the need for advocacy and orientation of the staff, of the citizens, of the council members, and so on. So they are in that stage of know better. Once they have achieved certain level of awareness and advocacy, they will move into stage B. At the end of stage B, they would have done their diagnostics and done the planning part, and they would have determined the actions for DRR that they need to take, the actions to reduce the risk and increase the resilience through either a DRR strategy or a risk-informed development plan. And at stage C, of course, they are involved in the implementation. So the kind of partners that they will be exposed to in the MCR 2030 will also vary. So for stage A cities, it will be partners who can help them in advocacy, awareness, generation. In stage B, it will be partners who can help in risk assessment, who can help in planning and diagnostics, like this, using the scorecard or other tools, city resilience profiling tool, climate tools, and so on. And stage C, there will be the partners who will help cities actually implement the actions that they have determined in stage B. Now, there are already a number of cities in the world who have done what we call stage B. So when they apply for the MCR 2030, they will automatically move to stage C. There is also what we call the resilience hubs. These will be special cities in stage C who are willing to contribute to the regional and global knowledge by sharing their experiences, by investing in city-to-city exchanges and capacity building and so on. They will be the stage C cities. Some of them will be eligible to become resilience hubs. In the green is the kind of support that the partners will be offering. Now, again, Of course, all this support, there are partners who are funded by various projects, so they can provide this support without any cost to the city. But there are many partners who are not funded and they have to charge for their services. So we understand that, and that's why there is this option for a directory, which I'll talk about in a while. So the MCR 2030 will help cities do the self-assessment, the placement survey that I talked about. They will ask the cities to commit to change. They will, it will give them access to resources, contents, tools that are appropriate to the city's stage in the journey. So the kind of partners that the cities will have access to will change. In A, the partners will be different from B, from C. Now, these are the criteria for moving along the journey. It's mostly self-service, so cities will upload their documents and then the system will move them from A to B and B to C, up, unless a city joins straight out at C. So from A to B, the city has to conduct awareness events and show proof of that, do orientation with the staff and the city council and show proof for that, and establish a multi-sectoral committee on resilience building. Multi-sectoral because understanding that we want to address systemic risk and we want to treat it as a system of systems. So we need everyone there. It cannot be just the civil defense or the emergency management or the fire services. It has to be the other departments also. And as you see from COVID-19 situation, it's something which started with the health department and now impacts every department, every sector of cities, but also of national governments and also the global economy. Similarly, moving from B to C, they have to show the proof that they have done a risk-informed development plan or they have some DRR strategy or action plan, and which has been endorsed or tabled by the governing body. A resilience hub, as I mentioned earlier, will be a city in stage C, which will be able to finance city-to-city exchanges, to finance knowledge sharing. So it could be regional events, could also be global events, but more likely regional or even national events, bringing cities together so that they have space where they can share their experiences and learn from each other, or to create some products which would be helpful to the other cities, maybe help in translations, things like that. So they are providing in-kind support and sharing that and functioning as accelerators to help other cities catch up quickly. Now, looking at the partners, now MCR 2030, we have what we call the core partners. These are the global partners who are already doing a lot of work in urban risk resilience, including networks like ICLE and UCLG, but you see the others also there. And they will be members of the Global Coordinating Committee, which will give the strategic direction to the MCR 2030 and will not be involved in the day-to-day working, but will be looking at what are the new trends, what are the emerging areas, what is the MCR 2030 covering, is there any new topics or new issues which are unaddressed and therefore needs to be addressed. And also, these are big global partners who will try to bring in other relevant partners into the MCR 2030. Then we have supporting partners who are mostly at the regional level. These are partners, again, who are funded, like NGOs and civil society organizations, universities, and so on. They can provide services to cities because they are funded. So they are able to provide these services without charging a fee. They are more close to the cities, either at the regional level or national levels. And the regional coordinating committee of the MCR 2030 will be coordinating their work. And then the third category is the private sector and what we call specialist service providers. So again, these are partners who will need to charge a fee. They cannot provide services for free because they are not funded, but they need to charge for their services, which is fine. But they provide very valuable services like climate change scenarios or helping cities access municipal financing, issue bonds, update building codes, and so on. In each of the regions, 5 regions, and I'll talk about that in a while, there will be an online directory, and partners are free to access this online directory, register for it, and place their information. This is our name, this is our contact details, this is what we offer, this is what we do, these are the fees we charge, this is our website link. All this kind of information will be there on the directory. So it will be something like a yellow pages. And this will be available by end of January. Then national governments, we all understand the link between national and local governments, but there's also the associations of municipalities which exist in all countries. And these are large groups of municipalities, and we are hoping to tap them because getting into these groups will mean quickly scaling up so that the message and the objective of the MCR 2030 can reach larger number of municipalities, and also the sharing of information and knowledge can happen amongst larger groups. So these will play a very big role. This is the governance structure. So Global Coordinating Committee, as I mentioned, for the overall strategy of the MCR 2030, and the operations at the regional level. In Africa, it will be in Nairobi, the regional secretariat. In the Americas, in Panama. In Arab states, it will be in Cairo. In Asia Pacific, it will be in Bangkok. And in Europe and Central Asia, it will be in Brussels. The global secretariat will be in Incheon, where we are located in our office in South Korea. So this is the website. It is already up and running, mcr2030.undrr.org. So I do recommend to all of you, as you go through this course, go into this website, see what it is, and then if your city is ready, then you can go to the Get Ready, and the city can sign up. There are all the tools are there also in the resilience roadmap. You can go to the resilience roadmap, go to stage B, and you will find all the diagnostic tools, including some of the tools which Anna will be introducing shortly. So with that, I